you ever noticed how the people who talk the most about success usually stay exactly where they are? They announce every goal, every plan, every dream, but years later, nothing about their life has truly changed. Meanwhile, somewhere out there, a quiet person is silently rebuilding their entire life. No attention, no validation, no explaining, just focus, discipline, and invisible progress. And one day, everyone suddenly asks the same question: how did they change so much? The truth is, powerful people do not waste their energy trying to impress others. They disappear from the noise. They stop telling everyone what they are about to do and become obsessed with actually doing it. While the world is distracted by attention, they quietly build a life nobody expected. Chapter 1. Stop announcing everything before it happens. One of the biggest reasons people never achieve their goals is because they talk too much before doing the work. The moment they feel motivated or excited, they immediately start telling everyone about their plans. They post their goals online, explain their dreams to friends, and look for encouragement before they have actually built anything. But talking about success is not the same as creating success. Words may feel good in the moment, but they do not change your life unless action follows them. Many people become addicted to validation instead of progress. The compliments and attention make them feel productive, even when nothing has truly changed. Slowly, they spend more time talking about the future than actually working for it. This is why so many goals disappear after a few weeks. The excitement fades because the person was focused more on attention than discipline. Quiet people understand something powerful. Goals grow stronger in silence. When you stop announcing everything, you protect your focus and your energy. You stop trying to impress people and start putting all your attention into improving yourself. Instead of explaining your vision every day, you quietly work on becoming the person capable of achieving it. Not everyone needs access to your dreams. Some people secretly enjoy discouraging you. Others will laugh at your goals because they cannot imagine a better future for themselves. Sometimes people project their own fears, failures, and limitations onto you. That is why silence becomes protection. The less people know, the less power they have to distract your mind. Work quietly, improve quietly. Stay focused even when nobody notices your effort. Let people think nothing is happening in your life. One day your results will become impossible to ignore, and your success will speak louder than your words ever could. Chapter 2. Silence protects your energy. Your energy is one of the most valuable things you own, but many people waste it every single day without realizing it. They give too much attention to drama, arguments, gossip, negativity, and people who constantly disturb their peace. By the end of the day, they feel mentally exhausted, not because life is impossible, but because their mind never gets a moment of calm. This is why silence becomes powerful. When you become quieter, you start protecting your energy instead of giving it away to everyone around you. You stop reacting to every opinion, every insult, and every unnecessary situation. Instead of constantly explaining yourself or arguing with people, you learn to stay calm and focused on your own path. Silence also helps you think more clearly. Many people are surrounded by so much noise that they no longer hear their own thoughts. They are always distracted by social media, conversations, and other people's problems. But when you spend time in silence, your mind slowly becomes calmer. You begin understanding yourself better. Your decisions improve, your focus becomes stronger, and your emotions become more stable. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Some people only bring stress, negativity, and emotional heaviness into your life. Every conversation with them leaves you drained. That is why emotionally strong people become more private as they grow. They stop giving their attention to things that do not help their future. Some of the biggest transformations happen during quiet seasons. The season where nobody notices your effort, nobody claps for your discipline, nobody understands the changes happening inside you. But slowly your mindset becomes stronger, your habits improve, and your life begins changing from the inside out. Silence is not weakness. Silence is self-protection. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay quiet, protect your peace, and continue moving forward without needing everyone to understand your journey. Chapter 3. Stop seeking validation from people. One of the biggest reasons people stay emotionally weak is because they constantly need approval from others to feel good about themselves. They want everyone to support them, agree with them, understand them, and praise them. Their happiness depends too much on other people's opinions. If someone compliments them, they feel confident. If someone criticizes them, they immediately begin doubting themselves. This is why so many people live with constant anxiety and emotional exhaustion. The truth is, when your confidence depends on validation, your peace will never be stable. Many people spend years trying to fit into places where they do not belong. They change their personality to make others comfortable. They hide their real thoughts to avoid judgment. They constantly explain their decisions because they are afraid of being misunderstood. Slowly, they lose themselves while trying to gain acceptance from people who may never truly value them anyway. But emotionally strong people understand something important. Not everyone will understand your journey, and that is completely okay. The moment you stop seeking validation, your life starts changing. You stop making decisions just to impress people. You stop needing constant reassurance before taking action. Instead of asking everyone what they think about your goals, you quietly focus on building them. You begin trusting yourself more than outside opinions. This does not mean you stop caring about people completely. It simply means you stop allowing their opinions to control your life. There is a big difference between listening to wise advice and becoming emotionally dependent on approval. Many people cannot move forward because they are too worried about criticism. They are terrified of failure, embarrassment, and rejection. But the reality is this: no matter what path you choose, somebody will always judge you. If you stay small, people judge you. If you become successful, people judge you. If you stay quiet, people judge you. If you speak too much, people judge you. So trying to please everyone becomes impossible. That is why focused people stop wasting energy trying to be accepted by everybody. They understand that growth often requires distance. Sometimes your new mindset will make old relationships uncomfortable. Some people only liked the version of you that was insecure, distracted, and easy to control. The moment you become more disciplined and independent, they may start acting differently toward you. Do not let that stop your growth. Some people secretly become uncomfortable when they see you improving, because your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Your focus reminds them of their distractions. Your silence reminds them of how much time they waste talking instead of building. This is why you must protect your vision. Stop explaining every move to people who have never built anything meaningful themselves. Stop asking for permission to improve your own life. The more focused you become, the less validation you will need. Quiet people understand that real confidence is built internally. It comes from discipline, self-respect, consistency, and private growth. It comes from keeping promises to yourself even when nobody is watching. Over time, this creates a deep sense of self-belief that no outside opinion can easily destroy. When you stop depending on validation, you become emotionally free. Criticism no longer controls your mood. Rejection no longer destroys your confidence. You stop chasing attention because you realize peace is far more valuable than approval. And slowly, you begin building a life based on your own values instead of other people's expectations. That is when real growth begins. Chapter 4. Your discipline must become invisible. One of the biggest differences between successful people and distracted people is discipline. Most people only work hard when they feel motivated, excited, or inspired. The moment life becomes difficult, boring, or emotionally exhausting, they lose focus and stop trying. They depend too much on feelings, and feelings change constantly. But disciplined people move differently. They continue working even when they do not feel motivated. They continue improving even when progress feels slow. They understand that success is not built through temporary excitement. It is built through consistent action, repeated over a long period of time. This is why your discipline must become invisible. Many people today are more focused on looking productive than actually becoming productive. They post every workout, every goal, every plan, and every small achievement online because they want attention for the process itself. But real discipline happens privately. It happens during the moments nobody sees. It is waking up early when nobody is forcing you. It is staying focused while everyone else is distracted. It is continuing to work while other people are wasting time complaining. It is improving yourself quietly without needing constant praise or recognition. That is real discipline. The truth is, most powerful transformations in life are invisible at first. Nobody sees the lonely nights where you keep working on yourself. Nobody sees the sacrifices you make to build a better future. Nobody sees the emotional battles you fight inside your mind. People only notice the results later and call it luck or talent. But success rarely happens overnight. A strong body is built slowly. A strong mindset is built slowly. A peaceful life is built slowly. Financial stability is built slowly. Confidence is built slowly. Everything meaningful takes time. Unfortunately, many people quit too early because they expect immediate results. They want their life to change within a few weeks. The moment progress becomes difficult or invisible, they lose patience. They think nothing is happening, so they return to old habits and distractions. But quiet people understand something powerful. Small daily actions eventually create massive transformation. A person who reads every day becomes mentally stronger. A person who trains consistently becomes physically stronger. A person who controls their emotions becomes emotionally stronger. A person who stays disciplined while others stay distracted eventually creates a completely different life. That is why consistency matters more than motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel inspired. Other days you feel tired, stressed, and emotionally drained. If your future depends only on motivation, your progress will always be unstable. Discipline allows you to continue even during difficult seasons. And difficult seasons are unavoidable. There will be moments where nobody supports your vision. Moments where progress feels painfully slow. Moments where you question yourself. Moments where you feel exhausted mentally and emotionally. But these moments are exactly where discipline becomes powerful. Anybody can work hard when they feel excited. Very few people can stay committed when life becomes uncomfortable. That is why disciplined people eventually separate themselves from everyone else. While most people quit, they continue moving forward quietly. Over time, discipline changes your identity completely. You stop depending on excuses. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop wasting time procrastinating. You become more focused, more patient, and more emotionally strong. And eventually, the habits you once struggled to maintain become part of who you are. That is when life truly starts changing. The strongest people are not always the loudest people. Many of them are quiet individuals working silently behind the scenes while the world ignores them. They are not chasing attention because their focus is bigger than temporary validation. Every day they are building something most people cannot yet see. And one day, after months or years of invisible effort, people suddenly notice the transformation. They notice your confidence, your calmness, your discipline, your success, your mindset. But what they do not see are the years of quiet work that created it all. This is why you must stop obsessing over instant results and focus on becoming consistent. Protect your routines, protect your focus, protect your habits. Even if nobody notices your progress right now, continue building quietly. Because invisible discipline eventually creates visible success. Chapter 5. Distance yourself from constant negativity. One of the biggest reasons many people feel mentally exhausted is because they are constantly surrounded by negative energy. Every day they listen to people complain, gossip, criticize, argue, and spread emotional chaos. Instead of feeling motivated and peaceful, they slowly become emotionally heavy themselves. The people around you affect your mindset far more than you realize. That is why protecting your environment is extremely important. Some people drain your energy every single time you speak to them. They always focus on problems instead of solutions. They constantly complain about life, but never change their habits. They discourage ambition, mock discipline, and criticize anyone trying to improve themselves. After spending enough time around this type of energy, your own motivation slowly begins to disappear. Negative people often project their frustration onto others. When you talk about your dreams, they immediately tell you why it will not work. When you try to become more disciplined, they call you obsessed. When you become quieter and more focused, they say you have changed. But the truth is, your growth makes some people uncomfortable because it reminds them of the changes they refuse to make in their own life. That is why distance becomes necessary. Protecting your peace does not mean you hate people. It simply means you understand that your mind needs healthy energy in order to grow. You cannot build a peaceful life while constantly surrounded by stress, negativity, and emotional confusion. Many people stay connected to unhealthy relationships for too long because they fear loneliness. They continue talking to people who disrespect them, manipulate them, or constantly drain their emotional energy because they are afraid of being alone. But sometimes loneliness is healthier than constantly being surrounded by toxic energy. Quiet people understand this deeply. They stop forcing connections that no longer feel healthy. They stop trying to save people who do not want to improve themselves. They stop wasting emotional energy arguing with negative minds. Instead, they quietly create distance and focus on building stability inside themselves. This does not mean your circle must become completely empty. It means your circle must become intentional. The people around you should inspire growth, peace, discipline, and emotional balance. Good people help you feel calmer, stronger, and more focused after spending time with them. Bad energy does the opposite. It leaves you mentally exhausted. As you grow, your life naturally becomes quieter. You lose interest in drama, gossip, and meaningless conversations. You stop needing to prove yourself to everyone. You become more protective of your time, your attention, and your emotional peace. This is a sign of maturity. Many people waste years reacting emotionally to everything around them. Every insult ruins their mood. Every disagreement becomes a battle. Every negative opinion destroys their peace. But emotionally strong people learn something powerful. Not every situation deserves your reaction. Sometimes silence is the smartest response. Sometimes distance is the healthiest decision. Sometimes protecting your peace matters more than winning an argument. The truth is, your mind becomes stronger when it is not constantly overloaded with negativity. A peaceful environment helps you think clearly. It helps you focus on your goals. It helps you become emotionally stable instead of emotionally reactive. This is why successful people become more selective with who they allow into their life. They understand that energy is contagious. Disciplined people inspire discipline. Negative people spread negativity. Focused people increase focus. Distracted people create distraction. Your environment slowly shapes your future. That is why you must be careful who you spend your time with. Not everybody deserves unlimited access to your energy. Some people only enter your life to waste your attention, create stress, and keep you emotionally distracted. You must learn to recognize this early. The more peaceful your life becomes, the more some people will accuse you of becoming distant. But growth often requires distance. You cannot evolve while constantly staying attached to people who pull you backward emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Sometimes the best thing you can do is quietly step away and continue moving forward without drama, because peace is productive. A calm mind makes better decisions. A focused mind builds a better future. An emotionally balanced person becomes difficult to control. And when you finally stop allowing negativity to dominate your environment, your entire life begins changing. You sleep better. You think more clearly. You stop feeling emotionally drained all the time. Your focus improves. Your discipline improves. Your peace returns. That is why one of the most powerful things you can do in life is protect your energy and distance yourself from constant negativity. Chapter 6. Become addicted to progress. Not attention. One of the biggest distractions in modern life is the constant need for attention. Everywhere you look, people are trying to be seen, noticed, praised, and validated. Many people no longer focus on truly improving themselves. Instead, they focus on appearing successful in front of others. They want the image of growth without the discomfort required to actually grow. This is why so many people remain stuck. They spend more time posting motivational quotes than building discipline. More time talking about goals than achieving them. More time trying to impress strangers than improving their own life. And slowly, attention becomes an addiction. The problem with attention is that it creates temporary emotional satisfaction without real progress. A person receives likes, compliments, praise, or validation for appearing productive, and for a moment they feel successful. But deep inside, nothing has truly changed. Their habits are still weak. Their discipline is inconsistent. Their life remains the same. This is why many people look confident online but feel empty privately, because appearances can fool people, but they cannot build a better future. Real growth happens quietly. It happens when you wake up early without announcing it. It happens when you continue working during difficult seasons. It happens when you improve yourself even when nobody notices. It happens when you stay committed long after the excitement disappears. That is real progress. Quiet people understand something powerful. Attention is temporary, but self-improvement changes your entire life. Attention fades quickly. People forget. Trends disappear. Public approval constantly changes. But the discipline you build, the mindset you strengthen, and the habits you develop stay with you for years. That is why focused people stop chasing validation and become addicted to progress instead. Progress creates confidence naturally. When you improve your body, you feel stronger. When you improve your discipline, you trust yourself more. When you improve your mindset, your peace becomes stronger. When you improve your habits, your future slowly changes. This kind of confidence is different because it is real. It is not built from compliments. It is built from effort. Many people want attention because they are emotionally empty. They depend on outside validation to feel important. The moment attention disappears, they feel anxious again. This creates a dangerous cycle where their happiness depends entirely on how much recognition they receive from others. But emotionally strong people break this cycle. They stop needing everyone to constantly notice them. They become more focused on becoming better privately than looking impressive publicly. Instead of asking, "How can I get attention?" they begin asking, "How can I improve my life?" That question changes everything. Because when your focus shifts toward growth, your priorities begin changing too. You become less interested in proving yourself and more interested in building yourself. You stop comparing your journey to everyone around you. You stop competing for validation. Instead, you quietly focus on daily improvement. This is where real transformation begins. Many people underestimate the power of small progress because they are obsessed with instant results. They want immediate success, immediate confidence, immediate change. But powerful lives are built slowly through consistent improvement. A person who reads 10 pages every day becomes mentally stronger over time. A person who exercises consistently becomes physically stronger over time. A person who practices emotional control becomes calmer over time. A person who stays disciplined while others stay distracted eventually creates an entirely different life. Small progress may feel invisible in the beginning, but over time it becomes massive transformation. Unfortunately, most people never experience this transformation because they quit too early. The moment progress becomes boring, repetitive, or difficult, they lose interest. They become distracted again by entertainment, validation, and comfort. This is why discipline matters so much. The people who eventually succeed are usually not the loudest people. Many of them are quiet individuals repeating simple habits consistently for years. While others constantly restart their goals, disciplined people continue moving forward slowly without stopping. That is the difference. Most people only work hard when they feel emotionally inspired. Focused people work even when they do not feel like it. They understand that growth is not always exciting. Some days are repetitive, some days feel slow, Some days feel mentally exhausting, but they continue anyway. And this ability to continue during difficult moments is what separates successful people from distracted people. Many people destroy their own progress because they constantly seek approval before results. The moment they begin improving themselves, they immediately want recognition for it. But seeking attention too early often weakens discipline. Instead of focusing on the work itself, they become obsessed with how other people view them. Quiet people avoid this trap. They understand that growth needs privacy in the beginning. A seed grows underground long before anybody sees the tree. In the same way, your habits, discipline, and mindset must develop privately before your results become visible publicly. This is why silence is powerful. When nobody is watching you, your focus becomes cleaner. You are no longer performing for attention. You are no longer trying to impress anyone. You are simply focused on becoming stronger every day. And that kind of focus creates extraordinary results over time. There is also something dangerous about constantly comparing yourself to other people online. Social media has made many people feel behind in life. Every day they see people showing success, luxury, confidence, relationships, money, and happiness. Slowly, they begin feeling insecure about their own journey. But what many people do not realize is that social media often shows appearances, not reality. Some people look successful but are deeply unhappy. Some people look confident but are emotionally broken. Some people look disciplined publicly but are completely lost privately. This is why comparison becomes dangerous. The more you compare yourself to everyone else, the more distracted you become from your own growth. Focused people understand that everybody has a different journey. Instead of obsessing over what other people are doing, they concentrate on improving their own life step by step, quietly. The truth is, becoming addicted to progress changes your mindset completely. You begin enjoying improvement itself. You enjoy learning, growing, building, healing, and becoming stronger. Your happiness no longer depends entirely on attention, because your fulfillment comes from seeing yourself evolve. This creates emotional stability. You stop feeling desperate for validation. You stop needing everyone's approval. You stop announcing every move. You stop performing for attention. Instead, your focus becomes internal, and this internal focus creates peace. Many people are emotionally exhausted because they constantly try to maintain an image. They want everyone to think they are successful, confident, and important. But pretending is exhausting. It forces people to live for appearances instead of truth. Quiet progress is different. Quiet progress is real. It is stable. It is peaceful. It is honest. When you quietly improve yourself every day, your confidence naturally becomes stronger because it is built on evidence. You know how much work you have done privately. You know the discipline you maintained during difficult moments. You know the sacrifices you made to become stronger. That creates deep self-respect. And self-respect is far more powerful than temporary attention. Over time, people will begin noticing the changes in you anyway. They will notice your calmness, your focus, your discipline, your maturity, and your confidence. But the difference is that by then, you will no longer desperately need their approval, because your life itself will already feel meaningful. This is why you must become addicted to progress instead of attention. Attention fades quickly. Progress changes who you become forever. Focus on improving your habits, improving your discipline, improving your mindset, improving your emotional control, improving your future quietly. Do not rush the process. Do not seek validation too early. Do not become distracted by appearances. Real transformation takes time. And some of the strongest people in the world are not loud people chasing attention. They are quiet individuals working on themselves every single day while nobody notices. Then one day their entire life looks completely different. Not because they talked about success constantly, but because they stayed focused long enough to build it. Chapter 7. Build a life that makes noise unnecessary. One of the most peaceful feelings in life is reaching a point where you no longer feel the need to prove yourself to anyone. You stop chasing attention. You stop explaining every decision. You stop trying to impress people who were never truly invested in your happiness anyway. Instead of constantly seeking validation, you quietly focus on building a life that feels meaningful to you. This is where real peace begins. Most people spend years trying to create an image instead of creating a good life. They want to appear successful, confident, wealthy, important, or happy in front of others. But behind closed doors, many of them feel mentally exhausted because they are constantly performing for attention. Pretending is exhausting. Trying to impress everyone drains your energy. Trying to maintain a perfect image creates anxiety. Trying to compete with everybody steals your peace. That is why quiet people eventually move differently. They stop chasing appearances and begin focusing on reality. Instead of asking, "How can I impress people?" they start asking, "How can I create a peaceful life for myself?" That question changes everything, because once peace becomes your priority, your entire lifestyle starts changing. You become less interested in drama, competition, and meaningless attention. You stop wasting time arguing with people online. You stop trying to prove your worth in every conversation. You stop seeking approval from people who do not even understand themselves. Instead, you focus on building stability, a peaceful routine, a disciplined mind, a healthier body, a stronger future, a calmer environment, quietly. Many people believe happiness comes from attention, popularity, or recognition. But attention alone does not create peace. Some of the most famous people in the world are deeply unhappy because external success cannot fix internal emptiness. Real peace comes from alignment. It comes from living a life that matches your values. It comes from becoming emotionally independent. It comes from waking up without constant anxiety and emotional chaos inside your mind. This is why building a peaceful life is one of the greatest forms of success. Unfortunately, modern life constantly pushes people toward noise and distraction. Everywhere you look, people are competing for attention. Everyone wants to be noticed. Everyone wants validation. Everyone wants to appear important. Slowly, people become addicted to stimulation and forget how to simply live calmly. But calmness is power. A calm person thinks more clearly. A calm person makes better decisions. A calm person cannot easily be manipulated emotionally. That is why emotionally mature people stop reacting to everything around them. They understand that protecting peace is more important than winning every argument or proving every point. Sometimes silence protects your mental health better than explanation ever could. Many people waste years trying to convince others to understand them. They explain themselves repeatedly, hoping people will finally see their value. But the truth is, some people will misunderstand you no matter how clearly you speak. Quiet people accept this reality. They stop wasting emotional energy trying to control everyone's opinion. They understand that peace becomes impossible when your happiness depends entirely on being understood by everybody around you. This does not mean becoming cold or emotionless. It simply means becoming emotionally secure enough to stop chasing constant approval. When you become emotionally secure, your behavior changes naturally. You stop over-explaining. You stop begging for attention. You stop forcing relationships. You stop chasing people who clearly do not value you. You stop reacting emotionally to every criticism. And because of this, your life becomes quieter and more peaceful. Many people are secretly addicted to chaos because chaos distracts them from themselves. They constantly surround themselves with noise, drama, unhealthy relationships, gossip, and emotional confusion because silence feels uncomfortable. The moment life becomes quiet, they suddenly feel their loneliness, insecurity, anxiety, or emptiness. But growth requires silence. Silence forces you to face yourself honestly. Silence forces you to confront your habits. Silence forces you to recognize what truly matters. This is why some of the strongest transformations happen during quiet seasons of life. Seasons where you spend less time seeking attention and more time rebuilding yourself privately. At first, this process feels lonely. People may not understand your distance. Some may think you changed. Others may accuse you of becoming too quiet or too focused. But they do not see what is happening internally. They don't see the healing. They do not see the emotional growth. They do not see the discipline you are building quietly every day. And that is okay. Not every transformation needs to be explained publicly. One of the most powerful things you can learn in life is how to become comfortable moving in silence, comfortable improving without applause, comfortable succeeding without needing everyone to notice immediately. Because once you become comfortable with quiet progress, you stop depending on external motivation. Your focus becomes internal, your discipline becomes stronger, your peace becomes deeper, and eventually your entire presence changes. People begin noticing your calmness, your patience, your emotional control, your confidence, your maturity. But what they are really noticing is inner stability. A person who no longer desperately needs validation becomes powerful because they are emotionally free. Their happiness no longer depends on social approval. Their confidence no longer collapses because of criticism. Their identity no longer changes depending on who is around them. That kind of emotional freedom is rare. Most people are still controlled by public opinion. They are terrified of judgment. They constantly worry about what others think. They shape their personality around acceptance. This creates emotional exhaustion because they are never fully themselves. But quiet people slowly escape this trap. They stop performing. They stop pretending. They stop chasing. Instead, they focus on building a life that genuinely feels peaceful. This is why privacy becomes important as you grow. Not everything needs to be shared with the world. Some goals grow better in silence. Some dreams become stronger when protected privately. Constant exposure often weakens focus because too many outside opinions begin entering your mind. Quiet people protect their energy carefully. They become selective about who they speak to, selective about where they spend time, selective about what they allow into their mind. This is not arrogance, this is self-respect. Because the truth is, your attention shapes your future. Whatever constantly enters your mind eventually affects your emotions, decisions, and habits. If your life is filled with negativity, distraction, comparison, and chaos, your inner world eventually becomes chaotic too. But when your environment becomes calmer, your mind becomes calmer, and calm minds create better lives. That is why peaceful people often appear different from everyone else. They are no longer addicted to noise. They do not constantly seek attention. They do not need to prove themselves in every situation. They move quietly because their focus is deeper than public validation. They understand something many people never learn. A peaceful life is more valuable than a performative life. Many people chase lifestyles that look impressive but secretly destroy their mental health. They overwork to impress strangers. They compare themselves constantly. They sacrifice peace for appearances. But eventually, emotionally mature people realize something important. No amount of attention can replace inner peace. No amount of popularity can replace emotional stability. No amount of public approval can replace self-respect. This realization changes everything. You begin caring less about being admired and more about being mentally healthy. You begin caring less about looking successful and more about becoming fulfilled. You begin caring less about attention and more about peace. And this shift creates a completely different life. Slowly, your routines become healthier. Your relationships become more intentional. Your emotions become more stable. Your mind becomes quieter. And eventually, your life itself becomes the proof. You no longer need to constantly explain your growth because people can already feel the difference in your energy. They notice how calm you are under pressure. They notice how disciplined you have become. They notice how focused and emotionally balanced you seem compared to before. But they often do not realize that all of this was built quietly over time. That is the power of silent growth. The strongest lives are often built away from attention, away from noise, away from constant validation, because real growth needs focus, patience, discipline, and peace. So stop feeling pressured to constantly prove yourself. Stop seeking approval from everybody around you. Stop performing for people who are not building your future. Instead, focus on creating a life that feels peaceful when nobody is watching. a life where your happiness is real, a life where your confidence is stable, a life where your peace no longer depends on outside validation. That is true success, and once you build that kind of life, noise becomes unnecessary, because your calmness, your discipline, and your entire presence will already speak for you. Chapter 8. Stop living for other people's opinions. One of the biggest reasons people never become truly free is because they spend their entire life worrying about what other people think of them. Every decision becomes controlled by fear of judgment. They dress based on other people's opinions. They speak based on what will be accepted. They hide parts of themselves just to fit into environments where they do not even feel peaceful. Slowly, they stop living authentically. Instead of building the life they truly want, they build a life designed to please other people. They become trapped inside constant anxiety because their happiness depends too much on outside approval. Every criticism feels personal. Every rejection feels devastating. Every negative opinion stays inside their mind for days. This is emotional imprisonment. The truth is, many people never discover who they really are because they spend too much time trying to become who others expect them to be. From a young age, people are taught to seek validation. They are rewarded for fitting in, staying agreeable, and avoiding judgment. Over time, they become afraid of standing out or living differently. But extraordinary lives are never built by constantly trying to please everybody. The moment you begin making decisions based entirely on public approval, you slowly lose your identity. You stop asking yourself what actually makes you happy. Instead, you constantly ask, "What will people think?" And that question destroys countless dreams. Many people stay in unhealthy relationships because they fear judgment. Many people stay in careers they hate because they fear criticism. Many people never chase their real goals because they fear failure and embarrassment. Their life becomes controlled by fear of opinion. But emotionally strong people eventually realize something powerful. People will judge you no matter what you do. If you stay quiet, people judge you. If you speak confidently, people judge you. If you chase your dreams, people judge you. If you stay average, people judge you. If you succeed, people judge you. If you fail, people judge you. No matter what path you choose, somebody will always have an opinion. Once you fully understand this, something inside you changes. You stop trying to control everybody's perception of you because you realize it is impossible. No matter how kind, intelligent, disciplined, or successful you become, some people will still misunderstand you. That is simply reality. Quiet people understand this deeply. That is why they stop wasting energy over explaining themselves. They stop defending every decision. They stop trying to convince people to understand their vision. Instead, they quietly continue building their life while allowing people to think whatever they want. This creates emotional freedom. Many people are emotionally exhausted because they constantly monitor how they are perceived. They overthink every conversation, every social interaction, every mistake, and every opinion. Their mind never rests because they are addicted to approval. But peace becomes impossible when your happiness depends on being liked by everybody. The truth is, some people will dislike you simply because you are changing. Your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Your confidence reminds them of their insecurities. Your growth makes them uncomfortable because it forces them to confront the areas of life where they remain stuck. This is why growth often changes relationships. Some people only support you when you stay small. Some people only feel comfortable when you doubt yourself. Some people secretly prefer the version of you that needed validation constantly. The moment you become more independent, focused, and emotionally strong, they may begin treating you differently. Do not let this stop your growth. You must understand that not everybody is meant to go with you into your next chapter. Some relationships exist only for a season. Some people were only connected to the old version of you. The more you evolve, the more your life naturally changes. This process can feel lonely at first. There will be moments where you question yourself, moments where you wonder if becoming quieter is making people distant, moments where you feel misunderstood. But emotional maturity requires accepting that being understood by everyone is not necessary for inner peace. Many people destroy their mental health trying to maintain an image that pleases everybody. They become exhausted, pretending to be someone they are not. They smile when they are unhappy. They agree when they actually disagree. They hide their real emotions because they fear rejection. But pretending slowly destroys self-respect. The more disconnected you become from your authentic self, the emptier life begins to feel. This is why many people appear socially successful but internally feel lost. Their external image receives approval, but their real self remains ignored. Quiet people stop living this way. They begin valuing honesty over performance, peace over popularity, authenticity over approval. And this changes everything. When you stop living for other people's opinions, your decisions become clearer. You no longer waste years trying to impress people who are not building your future. You stop making choices purely based on external validation. Instead, you start focusing on what genuinely aligns with your values, your peace, and your long-term growth. This creates confidence, not fake confidence based on attention, real confidence based on self-trust. Self-trust is powerful because it allows you to move through life without constantly needing reassurance. You begin trusting your own judgment more. You stop asking everybody for permission before taking action. You stop depending on approval to feel worthy. And once this happens, your energy changes completely. You become calmer, more emotionally stable, less reactive, more focused. Because your identity is no longer controlled by public opinion. Many people never experience true peace because they are constantly performing. Every conversation becomes an attempt to impress someone. Every social interaction becomes a search for validation. They are always trying to prove their intelligence, success, beauty, or importance. This creates endless pressure. But emotionally mature people eventually become tired of performing. They realize how exhausting it is to constantly seek approval. Slowly, they begin simplifying their life. They stop chasing unnecessary attention. They stop competing for recognition. They stop explaining themselves to people who already decided to misunderstand them. And suddenly, life becomes quieter. This quietness is healing. Your mind becomes calmer because you stop obsessing over opinions. Your emotions become stronger because criticism loses power over you. Your confidence becomes more stable because it is no longer built on temporary validation. That is true freedom. Freedom is not having everybody like you. Freedom is being emotionally secure even when they do not. Many people are terrified of rejection because they believe rejection defines their worth. But rejection is often just redirection. Not everybody is meant to understand your path. Not everybody is meant to stay in your life forever. Quiet people accept this. Instead of chasing people who constantly misunderstand them, they focus on becoming stronger internally. They stop trying to force connections. They stop begging for attention. They stop shrinking themselves to make others comfortable. And because of this, they begin attracting healthier energy naturally. The truth is, people respect authenticity more than performance in the long run. Fake confidence eventually collapses because it depends entirely on attention. But real confidence becomes stronger over time because it is built privately through discipline, healing, and self-respect. This is why your relationship with yourself matters so much. If you constantly abandon yourself to gain approval from others, you will eventually feel emotionally empty. But when you start respecting your own boundaries, values, and peace, something powerful happens inside you. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop begging for validation. You stop chasing people who clearly do not value you. You begin protecting your energy instead. And protecting your peace changes your entire life. Many people stay emotionally trapped because they are afraid to disappoint others. They fear being called selfish, distant, cold, or different. But growth often requires disappointing people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. That is part of maturity. Mature people understand that protecting their mental health is not selfish. Creating distance from negativity is not selfish. Choosing peace over chaos is not selfish. It is necessary. The stronger your self-respect becomes, the less outside opinions control your emotions. Criticism still exists, but it no longer destroys your confidence. Rejection still happens, but it no longer defines your value. Judgment still exists, but it no longer controls your life. This is emotional independence. And emotional independence is one of the most powerful forms of freedom a person can achieve. Because once you stop living for public approval, your entire focus changes. You stop wasting energy trying to impress everybody and start investing that energy into building your future instead. You become more disciplined because you stop performing, more focused because you stop comparing yourself constantly, more peaceful because you stop carrying everybody's opinions inside your mind, and slowly your life transforms. Not because you suddenly became perfect, but because you finally stopped allowing outside noise to control your inner world. This is why quiet people often seem calmer than everyone else. They are no longer fighting for acceptance every day. They already understand that no amount of approval will ever create lasting peace if self-respect is missing internally. That is why they move differently. They speak less. They explain less. They react less. They focus more. And over time, this creates a life that feels emotionally lighter and mentally stronger. Many people spend years trying to build an image instead of building inner stability. But images can collapse overnight. Attention disappears quickly. Public opinion constantly changes. Inner peace lasts longer. That is why the strongest thing you can do is stop building your life around what other people think. Build your life around truth instead. Build habits that make you stronger. Build routines that protect your peace. Build relationships that support your growth. Build discipline that creates self-respect, quietly. Because at the end of the day, people will always have opinions. But their opinions should never become more important than your peace, your future, and your authentic self. The moment you stop living for other people's approval is the moment your real life finally begins. Chapter 9. Learn to disappear and rebuild yourself quietly. One of the most powerful decisions a person can make is to disappear for a while and focus completely on rebuilding their life. Not because they hate people, not because they want revenge, but because they finally realize that constant noise, distraction, and outside pressure are slowly destroying their focus, peace, and potential. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your future is step away from the world for a while and work on yourself quietly. Most people are constantly surrounded by distraction. Every day, their attention is pulled in 100 different directions. Social media, gossip, negativity, entertainment, unhealthy relationships, emotional drama, and endless comparisons slowly consume their mental energy. Because of this, they never spend enough time truly improving themselves. They are busy, but not progressing. Many people confuse movement with growth. They constantly talk, scroll, react, complain, and chase attention. But internally they remain the same person year after year. Their habits do not improve. Their discipline does not improve. Their emotional control does not improve. Deep down, they know their life needs change, but they stay trapped inside constant distraction. This is why disappearing becomes powerful. When you temporarily remove yourself from unnecessary noise, something inside you begins changing. Your mind slowly becomes clearer. You begin seeing your habits honestly. You begin realizing how much energy you were wasting on things that never truly mattered. At first, silence feels uncomfortable. Many people are not used to being alone with their own thoughts. The moment life becomes quiet, they suddenly feel the anxiety, insecurity, loneliness, and emotional exhaustion they were constantly distracting themselves from. This is why so many people stay addicted to noise. Noise helps them avoid facing themselves, but healing begins when distractions end. The truth is, you cannot rebuild your life while constantly surrounding yourself with the same chaos that damaged your peace in the first place. Growth requires space. Growth requires reflection. Growth requires periods of silence where you stop reacting to the world and start reconnecting with yourself. Quiet people understand this deeply. They understand that transformation often happens privately before it becomes visible publicly. While everyone else is busy chasing attention, they are rebuilding themselves behind the scenes, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually. And this quiet rebuilding process changes everything. Many people underestimate the power of solitude because they fear being alone. They think loneliness automatically means sadness. But solitude and loneliness are not the same thing. Loneliness is feeling emotionally empty. Solitude is intentionally spending time with yourself to grow stronger. Solitude allows you to think clearly, without constant outside influence. It allows you to recognize unhealthy patterns in your life. It allows you to understand who you truly are beneath everybody's expectations and opinions. This is why some of the strongest people spend seasons of their life in silence. During these seasons, they stop explaining themselves constantly. They stop seeking validation. They stop chasing attention. Instead, they become deeply focused on self-improvement, and slowly they become unrecognizable. Many people want transformation, but they do not want isolation. They want success without sacrifice. They want confidence without discomfort. They want growth while remaining inside the same habits, environments, and distractions that kept them stuck for years. But real rebuilding requires separation from chaos. Sometimes you need distance from unhealthy people, distance from toxic environments, distance from constant negativity, distance from distractions that weaken your focus. Without distance, clarity becomes impossible. Think about how difficult it is to hear your own thoughts in a loud room. Life works the same way. If your mind is constantly filled with noise, drama, entertainment, and outside opinions, you eventually lose connection with yourself. This is why disappearing for a while can become life-changing. When you stop exposing yourself to endless distraction, your priorities begin changing. Suddenly, things that once felt important no longer matter as much. You stop caring about impressing everybody. You stop comparing yourself constantly. You stop reacting emotionally to every little situation. Your energy becomes calmer, your focus becomes sharper, your mind becomes stronger. This process does not happen overnight. Rebuilding yourself takes time. There will be moments where you feel impatient, moments where progress feels invisible, moments where you question if anything is changing at all. But transformation is often invisible in the beginning. A person improving their discipline may still look the same externally. A person healing emotionally may still appear quiet externally. A person rebuilding their mindset may still seem ordinary externally. But internally, everything is changing. This is why patience becomes so important during silent seasons. Many people quit rebuilding themselves because they expect immediate visible results. They want instant confidence, instant success, instant peace. But deep transformation happens slowly through repeated effort, day by day, habit by habit, decision by decision. Quiet people understand this process. They understand that the strongest foundations are built privately. A tree spends years growing roots underground before it becomes strong enough to survive storms. In the same way, your discipline, mindset, emotional control, and confidence must be built internally before your external life fully changes. Unfortunately, modern society makes people afraid of disappearing. People are taught that they must constantly stay visible, active, available, and socially connected. If they become quiet for too long, others immediately assume something is wrong. But there is incredible power in stepping away temporarily to focus on yourself. Some of the biggest breakthroughs in life happen during isolated seasons, where nobody notices your effort. These are the moments where you finally develop the habits, discipline, and emotional maturity needed to create a different future. Many people never experience this because they constantly interrupt their own growth by seeking attention too early. Every small improvement becomes a public performance. Every goal becomes an announcement. Every step becomes content for validation. But rebuilding yourself requires privacy. Privacy protects focus. Privacy protects discipline. Privacy protects healing. When nobody is watching you constantly, you stop performing and start becoming real. Your attention shifts away from appearances and toward genuine improvement. And that is where transformation begins. One of the most important parts of rebuilding yourself quietly is learning how to let go of your old identity. Many people stay trapped because they continue identifying with the weakest version of themselves. They keep repeating, "I'm lazy, I'm insecure, I'm always anxious, I can never stay disciplined, I always fail." Over time, these thoughts become mental prisons. But disappearing for a while gives you the opportunity to rebuild your identity from the inside out. You begin creating new habits, new routines, new standards. Slowly, you stop becoming the person you used to be. This process feels uncomfortable because growth always requires leaving familiar versions of yourself behind. The old version of you may have been addicted to validation. The old version of you may have tolerated disrespect. The old version of you may have lacked discipline. The old version of you may have constantly sought attention. But rebuilding yourself means becoming somebody different, and not everyone will understand this transformation. Some people become uncomfortable when you become quieter because they were used to having constant access to your attention. Others may accuse you of changing because your new boundaries no longer benefit them. Some may even try to pull you back into old habits because your growth reminds them of their own lack of discipline. Do not let this stop you. Growth often requires disappointing people who benefited from your weakness. This is why emotionally mature people become selective during rebuilding seasons. They protect their energy carefully. They stop giving unlimited access to everyone. They understand that focus is fragile in the beginning, and too much outside noise can destroy progress. Over time, something incredible begins happening. Your confidence grows naturally, not because people praise you, but because you begin trusting yourself again. Every promise you keep to yourself strengthens self-respect. Every disciplined habit strengthens confidence. Every quiet improvement strengthens identity. And eventually, you no longer need external validation as desperately as before. This is true confidence. Real confidence is not loud. It is calm, stable, quiet. A person who has rebuilt themselves privately moves differently through life. They stop seeking approval constantly because they already know how much work they survived internally. They stop reacting emotionally to every opinion because their self-worth no longer depends on public validation. And because of this, their entire presence changes. People notice their calmness, their emotional control, their discipline, their focus, their peace. But most people never see the isolated season that created all of it. They never see the lonely mornings where you forced yourself to stay disciplined. The difficult nights where you fought your own negative thoughts. The moments where you chose growth instead of comfort. The sacrifices you made to rebuild your future quietly. This is why silent growth is so powerful. It creates deep transformation instead of temporary motivation. Many people are addicted to motivation because motivation feels exciting emotionally. But motivation disappears quickly. Discipline and quiet consistency create permanent change. That is why rebuilding yourself quietly matters so much. It forces you to stop depending on outside energy and start building internal strength instead. And internal strength changes everything. It changes how you think, how you react, how you handle stress, how you approach life. You become less emotionally reactive, less desperate for validation, less controlled by outside opinions. Instead, you become more grounded internally. This creates peace. The truth is, many people never reach their potential because they never spend enough time alone improving themselves. They stay trapped inside distraction for years. They know they need change, but they avoid the discomfort required for transformation. But the people who eventually create extraordinary lives usually go through silent rebuilding seasons first. During these seasons, they disappear from unnecessary attention. They reduce distractions. They focus on discipline. They rebuild their habits. They strengthen their mind. And slowly, their entire life begins changing. At first, nobody notices. But one day, people suddenly realize something feels different about them. Their energy feels calmer. Their confidence feels stronger. Their focus feels sharper. Their presence feels more mature. And what people are really noticing is the result of quiet rebuilding. This is why you should never fear disappearing for a while if your soul needs healing and your life needs rebuilding. Not every season of life is meant for public visibility. Some seasons are meant for private transformation. Some seasons are meant for silence, for discipline, for reflection, for rebuilding. And often, those quiet seasons become the exact reason your future eventually changes completely. Because when you finally stop wasting energy trying to impress everybody, you gain enough energy to finally build yourself instead. Quietly, patiently, powerfully. Chapter 10. One day your entire life will look completely different. Most people underestimate how much a person can change in 1 year of real focus. They think transformation only happens to lucky people, talented people, or people born with special advantages. But the truth is, most life-changing transformation happens quietly through small decisions repeated consistently over time. A person who stays disciplined every day eventually becomes unrecognizable. The problem is that most people never stay consistent long enough to experience this transformation. They become impatient. They want immediate results. The moment progress feels slow, they begin doubting themselves. They look at their current situation and assume nothing is changing. But real growth often feels invisible in the beginning. A person learning emotional control may still struggle internally at first. A person rebuilding discipline may still fail some days at first. A person improving their mindset may still feel insecure sometimes. But even though the results are not immediately visible, something important is happening underneath the surface. Every disciplined action is slowly changing identity. Every difficult decision is slowly building strength. Every quiet habit is slowly shaping the future. This is why patience matters so much. Many people quit during the early stages of growth because they expect dramatic transformation too quickly. They do not understand that extraordinary lives are usually built through ordinary daily habits repeated consistently over long periods of time. A person who trains consistently becomes stronger. A person who reads consistently becomes wiser. A person who saves money consistently becomes financially stable. A person who protects their peace consistently becomes emotionally stronger. Small actions may feel insignificant in the moment, but over time they completely transform a person's life. Unfortunately, modern life has made people addicted to instant gratification. Everybody wants immediate success, immediate attention, immediate confidence, and immediate results. Very few people are willing to stay committed during slow seasons where progress is invisible. But those invisible seasons are where the real transformation happens. Quiet people understand this deeply. They understand that success is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built during ordinary days where nobody notices your effort. It is built through discipline during boring routines. It is built through emotional control during stressful moments. It is built through consistency when motivation disappears. This is why your life can look completely different in the future if you simply refuse to quit on yourself. Most people dramatically underestimate the power of consistency because they focus too much on short-term discomfort. They cannot imagine how much their habits are shaping their future because the results happen slowly. But every decision matters. Every hour wasted on distraction matters. Every disciplined routine matters. Every unhealthy habit matters. Every healthy habit matters. Your future is quietly being created by your daily behavior. This is why focused people become careful about how they spend their time and energy. They understand that a distracted year can destroy progress, but a disciplined year can completely transform a life. 1 year of serious focus can change everything. Your mindset can become stronger. Your body can become healthier. Your discipline can become stable. Your confidence can become real. Your emotional control can improve dramatically. But this only happens if you remain committed long enough. Many people keep restarting their life because they never stay consistent. They feel motivated for a few days, then return to old habits. They become inspired temporarily, then become distracted again. Over time, this cycle creates frustration because deep down they know they are capable of more. But capability means nothing without consistency. There are many talented people with weak discipline, many intelligent people with unhealthy habits, many ambitious people who never stay focused long enough to build anything meaningful. The people who eventually create extraordinary lives are usually not perfect people. They are simply people who kept moving forward while others kept quitting. That is the difference. Quiet people understand that transformation requires repetition. Repeating healthy habits, repeating disciplined actions, repeating emotional control, repeating focus during difficult seasons, and eventually these repeated actions become identity. At first, discipline feels difficult because it is unfamiliar. But over time, your standards begin changing. The habits that once felt uncomfortable slowly become normal. You no longer need constant motivation because discipline becomes part of who you are. This is when life truly starts changing. Your mind becomes calmer because you stop living chaotically. Your confidence becomes stronger because you trust yourself more. Your emotions become more stable because you stop reacting impulsively. Your future becomes clearer because your habits finally align with your goals. And slowly you begin becoming somebody different. Most people only notice external transformation, but the deepest changes happen internally first. Before your life changes publicly, your thinking changes privately. You begin valuing peace more than attention, discipline more than comfort, growth more than validation, long-term success more than temporary pleasure. This internal shift changes everything. Suddenly, the things that once distracted you lose their power. Endless drama feels exhausting. Constant comparison feels meaningless. Chasing approval feels empty. You realize how much energy you wasted trying to impress people instead of improving yourself. And this realization creates maturity. Many people stay emotionally stuck because they never outgrow the need for validation. Their happiness still depends on being noticed, praised, or accepted. But emotionally strong people eventually realize something important. Real fulfillment comes from progress, not attention. Attention fades quickly. Progress changes your life permanently. This is why focused people become quieter as they grow. They stop announcing every goal. They stop seeking approval before results. Instead, they quietly build. Because they understand something powerful. The strongest transformations happen privately, before they become visible publicly. Think about how many people completely changed their life without anyone noticing the process. At first, nobody believed in them. Nobody saw the discipline behind the scenes. Nobody saw the lonely nights, the sacrifices, the emotional battles, or the daily effort. People only noticed the results later. This is why you should never become discouraged during quiet seasons. Just because your progress is invisible right now does not mean nothing is happening. Growth is still happening. Healing is still happening. Discipline is still developing. Your future is still being built, even if nobody notices yet. Many people destroy their progress because they constantly compare themselves to others. Social media makes this even worse. Every day people see curated versions of success online and begin feeling behind in life. They compare their beginning to someone else's highlight reel. But comparison destroys focus. The moment you become obsessed with other people's progress, you stop fully committing to your own journey. Quiet people avoid this trap. They understand that everybody moves through life differently. Some people bloom early, others bloom later. But consistent growth eventually creates results for anyone willing to stay disciplined. This is why patience becomes one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Patience allows you to continue even when results are slow. Patience allows you to remain focused during difficult seasons. Patience allows you to trust the process instead of quitting too early. And over time, patience creates extraordinary transformation. Many people give up because they cannot yet see who they are becoming. But if you continue improving yourself every single day, eventually your entire identity changes. You become calmer under pressure, more emotionally mature, more disciplined, more focused, more peaceful. People begin noticing something different about your energy, not because you suddenly became perfect, but because you spent enough time rebuilding yourself quietly. This is why silent growth is so powerful. It creates deep change instead of temporary excitement. It creates emotional stability instead of emotional chaos. It creates self-respect instead of constant insecurity. And eventually, your external life begins reflecting your internal growth. Your relationships improve because your standards improve. Your mental health improves because your habits improve. Your future improves because your focus improves. Everything becomes connected. The person you become internally eventually shapes the life you experience externally. That is why the small decisions you make today matter so much. The decision to stay disciplined matters. The decision to protect your peace matters. The decision to stop chasing validation matters. The decision to work quietly matters, because these decisions slowly create the future version of you. A version of you that thinks differently, lives differently, moves differently. Many people are waiting for one big moment to change their life, but transformation usually does not happen that way. It happens through quiet consistency repeated daily. It happens through small improvements nobody notices at first. Then one day people suddenly look at your life and wonder how everything changed so much. They see your confidence, your discipline, your emotional control, your peace, your success. But they never fully understand the process behind it. They never see the difficult moments where you almost gave up, the lonely seasons where nobody supported you, the silent battles you fought inside your mind, the discipline you maintained when nobody was watching. That is why your quiet seasons matter so much. Those are the seasons where your future is being built. Most people avoid these seasons because they are uncomfortable. They want constant entertainment, constant attention, and constant stimulation. But growth often requires temporary isolation and deep focus. This is where ordinary people become extraordinary, not through luck, not through talent alone, but through consistency. A person who consistently protects their peace becomes emotionally stronger. A person who consistently works on themselves becomes mentally stronger. A person who consistently chooses discipline over distraction eventually builds a completely different life. And this transformation shocks people because most individuals never stay focused long enough to experience it themselves. That is why you must stop underestimating your own potential. You may feel stuck today. You may feel behind today. You may feel unnoticed today. But if you continue improving yourself quietly every day, your life can look completely different in the future. 1 year of discipline can change your confidence. 1 year of focus can change your future. 1 year of emotional healing can change your mindset completely. Everything can change if you stop quitting on yourself. This is why quiet people become so powerful. They are not distracted by constant validation. They are not wasting years trying to impress everybody. They are focused on becoming stronger internally while the world remains distracted externally. And eventually, this focus creates extraordinary results. One day your mind becomes calmer, your habits become healthier, your confidence becomes stable, your life becomes peaceful, and people suddenly notice the transformation. But by then, you no longer feel desperate to prove anything, because you already know the truth. Your life changed because you stayed disciplined during silent seasons where most people would have given up. And that quiet consistency eventually created a completely different future. Chapter 11. Protect your peace like your future depends on it. One of the biggest mistakes people make in life is treating peace like it is optional. They sacrifice their mental health to keep everyone happy. They tolerate toxic behavior to avoid conflict. They constantly surround themselves with stress, negativity, drama, and emotional chaos, then wonder why they feel exhausted all the time. But the truth is, your peace affects every part of your life. When your mind is constantly overwhelmed, your focus suffers, your discipline suffers, your confidence suffers, your emotional stability suffers. A distracted and emotionally exhausted mind cannot build a strong future. That is why protecting your peace is not weakness. It is one of the most important forms of self-respect. Unfortunately, many people only realize the importance of peace after years of emotional damage. They spend years chasing relationships, approval, attention, money, or social acceptance, while neglecting their inner world completely. Outwardly, they may appear successful, but internally they feel anxious, drained, and mentally heavy. Because peace cannot be replaced by external success. You can have attention and still feel empty. You can have money and still feel restless. You can have people around you and still feel emotionally exhausted. Inner peace is different. Inner peace comes from emotional balance, healthy boundaries, self-respect, and a calm relationship with yourself. It comes from removing unnecessary chaos from your life and learning how to protect your energy carefully. Quiet people understand this deeply. That is why they stop reacting to everything around them. They realize that not every argument deserves attention. Not every opinion deserves a response. Not every person deserves unlimited access to their energy. This mindset changes everything. Many people live in a constant state of emotional reaction. One negative comment destroys their mood. One disagreement ruins their entire day. One rejection causes them to question their worth completely. Their emotions are controlled by everything happening around them. This is emotional instability. But emotionally strong people learn how to remain calm even when life becomes difficult. They stop allowing external chaos to constantly control their inner world. They understand that protecting peace requires emotional discipline, and emotional discipline is rare. Most people react immediately when something upsets them. They become angry instantly, defensive instantly, emotional instantly. But calm people move differently. They pause before reacting. They think carefully before responding. Sometimes they choose silence instead of conflict because they understand that peace matters more than ego. This does not mean becoming weak or passive. It means becoming emotionally intelligent enough to recognize what deserves your energy and what does not. Many people waste years fighting battles that never improved their life. Endless arguments, endless drama, endless emotional tension. Over time, this drains their mind completely. They lose focus on their own growth because they become too consumed by negativity around them. This is why boundaries become necessary. A person without boundaries eventually becomes emotionally exhausted because everybody gains access to their energy. Toxic people enter freely. Negative conversations continue endlessly. Emotional manipulation becomes normal. But peaceful people eventually reach a point where they stop tolerating constant emotional chaos. They begin protecting their mind carefully, protecting their routines carefully, protecting their emotional energy carefully, and this creates a calmer life. At first, people may not understand your boundaries. Some people become uncomfortable when they can no longer control your emotions or access your energy whenever they want. They may accuse you of becoming distant, selfish, or different. But growth often looks strange to people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. This is something many emotionally mature people eventually realize. Not everybody deserves the same level of access to your life. Some people inspire growth. Others create stress. Some people support your peace. Others constantly disturb it. And if you never learn the difference, your emotional health will suffer continuously. That is why protecting your peace sometimes requires difficult decisions. Sometimes it means creating distance from toxic relationships. Sometimes it means spending more time alone. Sometimes it means saying no without guilt. Sometimes it means walking away from environments that constantly damage your mental health. This is not selfishness. This is self-preservation. Many people stay inside unhealthy situations because they fear disappointing others. They fear rejection, loneliness, or judgment. So they continue tolerating emotional exhaustion just to avoid temporary discomfort. But temporary discomfort is often necessary for long-term peace. Quiet people understand this deeply. They understand that peace requires sacrifice. You cannot build a calm life while constantly entertaining chaos. Eventually, you must choose what matters more: temporary approval or long-term emotional stability. This choice changes everything. Once you begin prioritizing peace, your behavior naturally changes. You stop chasing unnecessary conflict. You stop trying to win every argument. You stop forcing relationships that clearly drain your energy. Instead, you become more selective. Selective with conversations, selective with environments, selective with who you allow close to your heart. This selectiveness creates emotional clarity. Many people are emotionally overwhelmed because they absorb everybody's problems constantly. They spend so much time trying to save others that they neglect themselves completely. Over time, they become mentally exhausted because they never protect their own emotional health. But you cannot pour endlessly into others while ignoring your own peace. At some point, protecting your mental well-being must become a priority. This is why solitude becomes healing for many people. Silence allows the nervous system to calm down. It allows your mind to recover from constant stimulation and emotional noise. During quiet moments, you finally hear your own thoughts again. And this clarity becomes powerful. You begin noticing what truly matters, what drains you, what strengthens you, what deserves your attention, what no longer belongs in your life. This awareness changes your future, because once you clearly recognize what destroys your peace, you stop tolerating it so easily. Many people continue suffering because they ignore their emotional exhaustion. Deep down, they know certain environments, relationships, habits, or conversations are damaging their peace, but they stay attached anyway because familiarity feels comfortable. But familiar chaos is still chaos. Growth often requires leaving environments that once felt normal. And this process is difficult because emotional attachment can be powerful. Sometimes you outgrow people you once deeply cared about. Sometimes you realize certain relationships only survived because you constantly abandoned your own needs to maintain them. This realization hurts, but it also creates freedom, because once you stop abandoning yourself for acceptance, your self-respect becomes stronger, and self-respect changes your standards completely. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop accepting constant negativity. You stop allowing people to emotionally manipulate you. Instead, you begin protecting your peace like something valuable. Because it is valuable, a peaceful mind improves every part of life. A peaceful mind makes clearer decisions. A peaceful mind handles stress better. A peaceful mind creates healthier relationships. A peaceful mind stays focused during difficult seasons. This is why emotional peace becomes one of the greatest advantages a person can develop. Unfortunately, modern life constantly attacks peace. Endless information, endless comparison, endless stimulation, endless negativity. Many people are mentally overloaded every single day without even realizing it. Their mind never truly rests. That is why quiet people often appear calmer than everyone else. They intentionally reduce unnecessary noise. They understand that attention is powerful, so they stop feeding their mind constant chaos. They become careful about what they watch, who they speak to, what environments they enter, what energy they allow around themselves. This intentional living creates stability, and stability creates strength. Many people think strength means becoming emotionally hard or emotionless, but true strength is emotional balance. It is the ability to remain calm while the world becomes chaotic around you. Type of calmness cannot be faked. It must be built. Built through discipline, built through healing, built through boundaries, built through self-awareness, and over time, this emotional stability changes your entire presence. People begin noticing your calm energy, your patience, your self-control, your ability to stay grounded during stressful situations. But what they are really noticing is inner peace. Inner peace creates quiet confidence because you no longer feel controlled by every external situation. Criticism loses some of its power. Drama loses some of its attraction. Validation loses some of its importance. You become emotionally freer. And emotional freedom is one of the most powerful things a person can achieve. Because once your peace becomes internal instead of dependent on outside conditions, life becomes lighter. You stop carrying unnecessary emotional weight everywhere you go. You stop reacting to every opinion, every insult, every rejection, every disappointment. Instead, you begin focusing on protecting your energy and building your future quietly. This is why peaceful people often become more private over time. Not because they hate others, but because they finally understand how valuable calmness truly is. They no longer want constant noise around their mind. They no longer want emotional chaos around their heart. They simply want peace, and that desire changes their life completely. The truth is, many people are searching for happiness while ignoring peace. But happiness without peace never lasts long. Temporary excitement fades quickly. Attention fades quickly. Validation fades quickly. But a peaceful life creates something deeper. It creates emotional stability, mental clarity, inner strength, and those things remain valuable no matter what happens externally. That is why protecting your peace is one of the most important investments you can make in yourself. Because your future depends on your ability to think clearly, remain emotionally balanced, and stay focused despite distractions. And none of that becomes possible if your inner world is constantly filled with chaos. So stop treating peace like it is unimportant. Stop sacrificing your mental health just to keep everybody comfortable. Stop allowing negativity unlimited access to your energy. Instead, protect your peace carefully. Protect it through boundaries, through discipline, through silence, through self-respect, because one peaceful mind is more powerful than 1,000 distracted opinions. And once you truly understand the value of peace, your entire life begins changing in ways most people never experience. Chapter 12. Become someone your old self would not recognize. One of the most powerful moments in life is realizing you are no longer the same person you used to be. The things that once controlled you no longer have power over you. The habits that once destroyed your focus no longer attract you. The people who once drained your energy no longer influence your emotions the same way. Slowly, quietly, you became stronger. But this type of transformation does not happen overnight. It happens through pain, discipline, silence, reflection, and repeated effort during seasons where nobody notices your growth. It happens when you stop waiting for life to magically change and finally decide to change yourself instead. Most people remain trapped in old versions of themselves because they fear transformation. They stay attached to familiar habits, even when those habits are destroying their future. They continue thinking the same way, reacting the same way, and living the same way year after year. And eventually, they begin feeling stuck. Deep down, many people know they are capable of more. They know they could become more disciplined, more peaceful, more emotionally mature, and more focused. But potential means nothing if you never take action long enough to evolve. Transformation requires leaving your old identity behind. This is difficult because your old self feels familiar. Even unhealthy patterns can feel comfortable when you repeat them for years. A person may complain about their life constantly while still protecting the habits that keep them miserable. Why? Because change feels uncomfortable at first. Discipline feels uncomfortable at first. Silence feels uncomfortable at first. Boundaries feel uncomfortable at first. Growth feels uncomfortable at first. But discomfort is often the beginning of transformation. Quiet people understand this deeply. That is why they stop running from difficult seasons. They stop expecting growth to always feel exciting or easy. Instead, they begin accepting discomfort as part of becoming stronger. This mindset changes everything. Most people only want transformation when it feels motivating emotionally. But real growth happens during ordinary moments where motivation disappears and discipline becomes necessary. It happens when you continue improving yourself even during difficult days, even during lonely days, even during emotionally exhausting days. That is where your new identity is built. Every disciplined decision slowly changes who you become. Every healthy boundary strengthens self-respect. Every moment of emotional control strengthens inner peace. And over time, you stop becoming the person you used to be. Many people underestimate how much identity shapes behavior. If you still see yourself as weak, distracted, emotionally unstable, or incapable, your actions will continue reflecting those beliefs. That is why rebuilding yourself internally matters so much. Transformation begins inside the mind before it appears externally. A person who truly changes starts thinking differently first. They stop constantly seeking validation. They stop reacting emotionally to everything. They stop tolerating constant negativity. They stop abandoning themselves for approval. Instead, they begin protecting their peace, respecting their time, and focusing deeply on growth. This creates a completely different life over time. Unfortunately, many people stay attached to old versions of themselves because they are afraid of how others will react to their transformation. They worry people will say they changed too much, became distant, became quiet, or became different. But growth always changes people. A person healing emotionally will behave differently. A person becoming disciplined will behave differently. A person gaining self-respect will behave differently. And not everybody will feel comfortable with your transformation. Some people only liked the version of you that lacked boundaries, the version that constantly chased approval, the version that tolerated disrespect quietly. The moment you become stronger internally, some relationships naturally begin changing. This can feel painful at first. There are moments during growth where you realize certain people were attached to your weakness, not your healing. They benefited from your insecurity. They benefited from your lack of confidence. They benefited from your emotional dependence. But emotionally mature people eventually stop shrinking themselves to maintain unhealthy connections. They choose growth instead, and growth requires courage. Courage to leave familiar environments behind. Courage to create boundaries. Courage to stop seeking approval constantly. Courage to become different from who you used to be. This is not arrogance. This is self-respect. Many people confuse self-respect with selfishness because they are used to abandoning themselves for others. But there is nothing selfish about protecting your mental health, your peace, and your future. In fact, becoming stronger internally often improves every area of life. You think more clearly, you make better decisions, you become emotionally calmer, you stop wasting energy on unnecessary drama, and because of this, your entire presence changes. People begin noticing your maturity, your discipline, your confidence, your emotional stability. But what they do not see are the years of quiet rebuilding that created this transformation. Real transformation is rarely loud. It usually happens during private seasons, where nobody is paying attention. While everyone else is distracted by entertainment, gossip, and comparison, you are quietly rebuilding yourself piece by piece. And this process changes your entire identity. The old version of you may have reacted emotionally to criticism. The new version stays calm and focused. The old version may have depended on validation constantly. The new version trusts themselves more deeply. The old version may have lacked discipline. The new version understands the power of consistency. This is what real growth looks like. Not perfection, transformation. Many people wait for one big moment to completely change their life. But transformation usually happens through small decisions repeated consistently over time. The decision to wake up earlier, the decision to protect your peace, the decision to stop chasing attention, the decision to stay disciplined during difficult seasons. These decisions may seem small individually, but together they slowly create a new person. And eventually your old identity no longer fits you anymore. This process can feel lonely because growth often separates you from environments and habits that once felt normal. The conversations that once entertained you may now feel exhausting. The distractions that once consumed your time may now feel meaningless. This is not because you became boring. It is because your priorities changed. Emotionally mature people stop finding fulfillment in constant chaos. They begin valuing peace more deeply. They become more intentional with their time, energy, and focus. And because of this, their life starts becoming calmer. Many people fear becoming different because they worry others will not understand them anymore. But the truth is, transformation is not meant to make everybody comfortable. It is meant to help you become stronger. The strongest people are often individuals who spent years rebuilding themselves quietly while the world underestimated them. During those silent seasons, they were healing emotionally, improving their mindset, strengthening their discipline, and creating a better future privately. Nobody noticed at first, but eventually, the results became impossible to ignore. People suddenly see the confidence, the calmness, the emotional control, the discipline, and they wonder what changed. What changed was identity. Because once your identity changes internally, your external life naturally begins changing too. Your standards become higher, your habits become healthier, your decisions become wiser, and slowly, your future begins looking completely different from your past. This is why self-respect matters so much during transformation. Many people sabotage their growth because they continue treating themselves like the person they used to be. They keep returning to unhealthy habits, unhealthy environments, and unhealthy relationships because familiarity feels comfortable emotionally. But growth requires new standards. A disciplined person cannot continue living like a distracted person. A peaceful person cannot continue surrounding themselves with chaos. A focused person cannot continue wasting energy on meaningless distractions. Eventually, your actions must align with the person you are becoming. And this alignment creates confidence. Real confidence is not built through attention. It is built through evidence. Evidence that you stayed disciplined. Evidence that you kept improving. Evidence that you survived difficult seasons without giving up. This type of confidence becomes stable because it is earned internally. And earned confidence changes your entire energy. You stop needing constant reassurance. You stop feeling desperate for approval. You stop reacting emotionally to every criticism because you already know how much work you survived privately. This is why silent growth creates powerful people. Quiet rebuilding forces you to become emotionally stronger. It teaches you how to rely on discipline instead of motivation. It teaches you how to remain focused even when nobody supports your vision yet. And over time, this creates deep self-belief. The truth is, your future depends heavily on the person you become internally. If your mindset remains weak, distracted, and emotionally unstable, external success alone will never create lasting peace. But when you become mentally disciplined and emotionally balanced, everything changes. Your focus improves, your peace improves, your confidence improves, your future improves. Because internal transformation always affects external reality. This is why you must stop underestimating the power of becoming a different person. Not fake transformation for appearances. Real transformation. The kind that changes your habits, your reactions, your standards, your mindset. The kind that slowly turns you into someone your old self would barely recognize. And one day, you will look back at the person you used to be and realize something powerful. The insecure version of you did not disappear overnight. The distracted version did not disappear overnight. The emotionally exhausted version did not disappear overnight. You rebuilt yourself slowly, quietly, patiently, day by day, decision by decision, habit by habit. And eventually your entire identity changed. This is why you should never become discouraged during slow seasons of growth. Transformation takes time. The strongest versions of people are usually built during difficult seasons where nobody notices their effort. But those quiet seasons matter, because those are the seasons where weak habits die, where discipline is built, where emotional healing happens, where confidence begins growing internally. And eventually, after enough quiet work, you become someone completely different. Someone calmer, stronger, more disciplined, more peaceful, someone your old self would barely recognize anymore. And that transformation becomes one of the greatest victories of your entire life. Chapter 13. The less you explain yourself, the more peaceful your life becomes. One of the most exhausting habits many people have is constantly explaining themselves to everyone around them. They explain their choices, their boundaries, their silence, their goals, their personality, and even their emotions. Deep down, they hope that if they explain themselves enough, people will finally understand them, accept them, and stop judging them. But life does not work that way. No matter how clearly you explain yourself, some people will still misunderstand you. Some people already decided how they want to see you long before you even opened your mouth. Others are too focused on their own opinions to truly understand your perspective. This is why constantly explaining yourself becomes emotionally draining. Many people waste years trying to make everyone comfortable with their decisions. They explain why they became distant, why they changed careers, why they ended certain relationships, why they stopped tolerating disrespect, why they became quieter and more focused. But emotionally mature people eventually realize something powerful. Not everybody deserves an explanation. This realization creates peace. Quiet people understand that constantly defending your life choices often comes from insecurity and fear of judgment. When you deeply trust yourself, you stop feeling the need to explain every move to people who are not building your future. You stop seeking permission to become who you are meant to become. This changes your energy completely. Many people are emotionally exhausted because they are constantly trying to control how others perceive them. They overthink conversations for hours. They replay situations in their mind, wondering if they explained themselves correctly. They worry too much about being misunderstood. But the truth is, being misunderstood is part of life. Sometimes people will judge your silence as arrogance. Sometimes they will judge your boundaries as selfishness. Sometimes they will judge your growth as distance. You cannot control that. The more you try to control everybody's opinion of you, the more anxious and emotionally drained you become. This is why peace requires letting go of the need to constantly explain yourself. Not every misunderstanding needs correction. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every criticism deserves your emotional energy. Quiet people become powerful because they understand where their energy should go. Instead of wasting hours defending themselves, they focus on building their life quietly. And over time, their results become the explanation. Many people struggle with this because they want everyone to see their good intentions. They want to be fully understood by family, friends, relationships, and society. But the painful reality is that some people will only understand you based on their own mindset, insecurities, and personal experiences. This is why trying to make everybody understand you becomes impossible. The moment you accept this reality, life becomes lighter. You stop over-explaining your boundaries. You stop defending your peace. You stop justifying every decision. Instead, you quietly continue doing what is best for your mental health, growth, and future. This does not mean becoming cold or disrespectful. It simply means becoming emotionally secure enough to stop seeking constant approval and understanding from everybody around you. Because true confidence is quiet. A confident person does not feel the need to explain every choice constantly. They trust themselves enough to move forward without endless validation. They understand that their life is their responsibility, not a public debate for everyone else to approve. Many people are trapped in emotional exhaustion because they live as if they are constantly being judged by the world. Every action becomes stressful because they fear criticism. Every decision becomes difficult because they worry what others will think. But emotionally strong people eventually stop living this way. They realize that people's opinions change constantly. Someone who criticizes you today may praise you tomorrow. Someone who misunderstands you now may eventually understand you later. And some people may never understand you at all. None of this should control your peace. Quiet people understand that over-explaining often weakens personal power. The more desperate you seem to convince everyone, the more emotionally dependent you become on their approval. But when you calmly live according to your values without constantly defending yourself, your energy changes. You become calmer, more grounded, more emotionally stable, because you stop carrying the pressure of trying to control everybody's perception of you. This is incredibly freeing. Many people never experience this freedom because they are addicted to approval. Deep down, they fear rejection so much that they constantly adjust themselves to avoid criticism. They explain their boundaries because they fear disappointing people. They explain their silence because they fear being misunderstood. But emotionally mature people learn something important. Protecting your peace matters more than constantly being understood. This mindset changes relationships too. Some people become uncomfortable when you stop over-explaining yourself because they were used to controlling your emotions through guilt, pressure, or judgment. The moment you become quieter and more emotionally independent, they may accuse you of changing. And they are right. You did change. You stopped abandoning yourself just to keep everyone else comfortable. That is growth. Many people believe maturity means constantly keeping peace with everybody around you. But true maturity is understanding that peace sometimes requires disappointing people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. This is difficult because humans naturally want connection and acceptance. Nobody enjoys feeling misunderstood. But there is a difference between healthy communication and emotional over-explaining. Healthy communication is calm and clear. Over-explaining comes from fear and insecurity, fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of being disliked. And when fear controls your communication, you slowly lose your peace. Quiet people eventually become tired of carrying this emotional weight. They realize how exhausting it is to constantly defend themselves, explain their choices, and seek understanding from people who may never truly understand them anyway. So, they stop. They stop arguing endlessly. They stop trying to convince everybody. They stop reacting emotionally to every opinion. And because of this, their mind becomes quieter. A quiet mind is powerful. When you stop over-explaining yourself, you gain emotional energy back. You stop wasting mental strength replaying conversations in your head all day. You stop feeling responsible for everybody's perception of you. Instead, your focus returns to your own life. This creates clarity. You begin realizing how much energy you wasted trying to make people comfortable with your growth. You realize how often you ignored your own needs just to avoid criticism. You realize how much of your anxiety came from trying to maintain a version of yourself that pleased everybody else. And slowly, you begin letting that version die. This process feels uncomfortable at first, because silence can feel unfamiliar. If you spent years over-explaining yourself, setting boundaries quietly may initially feel rude or unnatural. But over time, your confidence grows. You realize you do not need permission to protect your peace. You do not need approval to change your life. You do not need constant understanding to continue growing. This realization creates emotional independence. Emotionally independent people move differently through life. They are less reactive, less desperate for validation, less controlled by criticism, and because of this, they become calmer. Calmness is powerful because calm people think clearly. They make decisions based on values instead of emotional pressure. They stop reacting impulsively to every judgment or misunderstanding. This creates stability. Many people are emotionally unstable because their mood constantly changes based on how others treat them. One negative opinion ruins their confidence. One misunderstanding destroys their peace. But emotionally strong people stop allowing outside opinions to completely control their internal world. This does not mean they never feel hurt. It simply means they no longer let every external situation define their identity. That is emotional maturity. And emotional maturity creates a different type of confidence. Not loud confidence. Not performative confidence. Quiet confidence. The kind of confidence where you no longer feel pressured to constantly prove yourself. The kind where your peace matters more than winning arguments. The kind where you trust your own judgment enough to move forward without endless validation. This is why quiet people often appear mysterious to others. They stopped explaining everything. They stopped announcing every emotion, every plan, every thought. Instead, they learned how to keep certain things private. Privacy becomes powerful because it protects peace. The less access everyone has to your inner world, the easier it becomes to stay emotionally balanced. Too many outside opinions often create confusion and distraction. Quiet people understand this deeply. They understand that not every part of life needs public discussion. Some goals grow stronger in silence. Some healing happens better privately. Some transformations become more powerful when protected from unnecessary judgment. This does not mean isolation. It means intentional privacy. And intentional privacy creates focus. Many people sabotage their own peace because they expose every part of their life to public opinion. Then they become emotionally overwhelmed by criticism, comparison, and outside negativity. But peaceful people learn how to protect certain parts of themselves quietly. They stop feeling obligated to explain every decision, every absence, every boundary, every change. And because of this, life becomes simpler. The truth is, the less you explain yourself, the more emotionally free you become. You stop carrying the impossible responsibility of making everyone understand your journey perfectly. Instead, you focus on becoming aligned with yourself. And alignment creates peace. When your actions match your values, you no longer need to constantly defend yourself. You already know why you are making certain decisions. That internal clarity becomes stronger than outside judgment. This is why emotionally mature people often become quieter over time. Not because they have nothing to say, but because they finally understand that peace is more valuable than unnecessary explanation. They stop chasing understanding from people committed to misunderstanding them. They stop wasting energy trying to prove their worth. They stop defending every choice constantly. Instead, they quietly continue building their life. And over time, this quiet confidence becomes stronger than any explanation ever could. Because eventually, your peace, your discipline, your growth, and your entire energy begin speaking for you, without needing endless words at all. At the end of the day, the people who completely change their life are usually not the loudest people in the room. They are the quiet people who stayed focused while everyone else was distracted. The people who stopped chasing validation and started building themselves privately. The people who protected their peace, controlled their emotions, and kept moving forward even during lonely seasons where nobody noticed their effort. Real transformation is quiet. It happens when you stop explaining every move, when you stop seeking approval from everybody, when you stop reacting emotionally to every opinion and every situation. Instead, you begin focusing on your habits, your discipline, your mindset, and your future. Quietly, there will be seasons where people misunderstand you, seasons where nobody supports your vision, seasons where progress feels invisible. But do not let those moments make you quit on yourself. Because some of the most powerful growth happens during silent seasons. The seasons where you are rebuilding yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, while the world sees nothing changing. And one day, your entire life will look completely different. Your mind will become calmer, your confidence will become stronger, your habits will become healthier, your peace will become deeper. Not because you talked about success constantly, but because you stayed disciplined long enough to become someone new. Remember this: you do not need to announce your growth to make it real. You do not need everyone to understand your journey. You do not need public validation to build a meaningful life. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is disappear for a while. Protect your energy, work quietly, and allow your results to speak for themselves. Because in the end, quiet consistency is more powerful than loud motivation. And the person who keeps moving forward silently while everyone else is distracted will eventually build a life nobody expected.